Hello, hello, hello. My cat has decided to be in the way and say hello. Can you say hi? He's so pretty, nobody can tell. Alright, so my phone is a little blurry. We're just gonna have to deal with it. I'm gonna try to keep my cat's butthole out of your way. Oh, she was in her room in bed, and then I came down here to record because I can't sleep. And now she is so excited, she started tearing up the floor, so I had to let her out for a minute. Anyway, yes, we do lock our cats up at night because this one will wait until 2 o'clock in the morning and climb the curtains. And then she will take her little claws and try and rip up the mattress. Don't ya? You do that, huh? And not just rip up the mattress, but like stick her paw in there and like claw at your arm. She is so bad. And she actually is like a dog, more like a dog than a cat, and really enjoys being in her room. So it's like her little kennel, her little safe space. So anyway, that is why she normally goes in her room. And normally she has a companion, but that cat has decided to stay out all night and just refused to come in, and she's been a terror to get in for the last like month. Different cat than the cat that I showed on my Facebook the other day, if you're friends with me on there. And so I've decided, you want to play games? Let's play games. You get to be outside for the night. And I tried. I called for her like 5 times, and she decided she was not coming. So but I think little Luna here is a little lonely, and so when I came down here, she was like, wait, what are we doing? Let me out. Anywho, alright, so let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Like, I've been thinking about making this movie or this video for about 2 weeks now. About a week and a half, really, but every time I think about it, it's 10 o'clock at night and it's time for me to go to sleep. And tonight, I just can't. I cannot sleep, and the cat has decided she's now going to poke my phone. Can't sleep, and decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and try and make this movie or this video and talk about it, and then just see what happens. So I'm trying to get this lighting to be less ridiculous, but it's not gonna happen, so bear with my shadows. Do I look like a crazy lady? I finally have decided on a name for the business. I'm just gonna try and hold you because like it's not happening. The other thing I'm doing is not happening. So here's our awesome TV. And my cat is losing her damn mind. So months and months went into this business name, and I asked for input, I asked for help, I asked for logo help, and you know, what is happening is likely going to surprise some of you, because if you were in my DMs with me, you'll know that I was having really strong feelings about one of the logos, and it's not the one I ended up going with. But let's talk about that, and that's why I wanted to create a video, because I am really excited about what's happening, but it's so far from what I thought was going to happen, and there are reasons for that. So let's talk about it. So if you filled out the Google form, there were like 10 or 15 names on there, and I kind of went through and I deleted the ones like after I thought about them for a while and gotten input and things like that. I deleted the ones that I couldn't deal with. Like, I just couldn't handle, like, that. This is, like, when I said the word, it was like, oh, like, reading it is fine, but having to actually say that over and over and over again, I was like, this isn't gonna work. This does not roll off the tongue. Anything enchanted does not roll off the tongue. And then, after that, and I got rid of all of those, I pretty much got it down to, and I got rid of all the gardenias for the same reason, which is really making me very sad, to be honest with you, because I really wanted gardenia in the name, and I love the way that gardenias look. They're beautiful flowers, and I was planning on having a signature fragrance that's a gardenia blend. So we're still doing that, but it's just not going to be part of the name, So then after all of those kind of got out of the way, gardenias are one of my mom's favorite flowers, and she wore them in her hair when she got married to my dad. And so there was a lot of like significance to that particular floral arrangement. And I had a perfume that I bought about 15 years ago or so, and I wore it all the time. And it was a Gap fragrance, and I actually still have it upstairs. It probably doesn't smell quite the same, but I'm gonna try to replicate that because it smelled so incredibly amazing. And if I could find a soap that smelled like that, ugh, so excited. I have a cat hair on my mouth. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so we got through all of that. I didn't want the cats' names in the soap company name. I thought about it, but I didn't want that. And the idea behind the brand was something that was feminine, which femininity is pretty hard for me. So in creating that in the brand is a reminder of what I am, and this part of me, this soft part of me that I don't often allow in my life. And I know quite a few women in my circle, in my sphere, that are the same way, that they really, really struggle to allow their femininity to come out, and for a myriad of reasons, right? And so that's been something that's really important to me in this brand, is finding something that is feminine and positively feminine, right? Because there's a lot of negativity around femininity. It breeds weakness. It's, uppity, or it has to wear a dress, or all of these things, right? And I think that's all crap. And so there is strength in femininity. There is pride, and in a good sense, and confidence, and things like that. All of these really positive attributes. And this is what, like, I am fully in touch with my masculinity, my masculine energy side, like fully in touch with that. And I really wanted to bring to both my own heart and to other women's hearts this idea that it's okay to be, to let that softness in, to grow that softness, to embody that softness. It's okay. We don't always have to be this hyper independent force in the lives of everyone that we are around. And it's okay to need help, and it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to want help, right? So that was kind of the gist of the brand for me, and I needed a name that signified that. This light, happy, feminine, bright, beautiful concept. And I started, like, I was all in on Sirens Medley, like all in, like 97% sure that was going to be the thing, right? And then I started thinking about, if you're not familiar with the, oh, I knew it was going to escape me. I should have had it written down somewhere. It's a book called Building a Story Brand, I believe. I will leave a link in the description box below for this book. And it's basically this concept of, like, how you structure your branding is based on how you're telling this story, right? And I started thinking along those lines. Like, I haven't even started reading the book again for the fourth time, but I knew the concepts that I was going to be encountering when reading the book. And I'm like, okay, I need to be thinking about this. So, what does that mean? Like, what is a siren? What do they do? Why is this important? And why am I drawn to it, right? And so, from a brand perspective or from a story perspective, you might recall that a siren uses their voice, uses their song to lure men to their deaths. And one day I sat down and I thought that through. I remember I was standing in my kitchen, like right by my pantry, and like that thought occurred to me as I was walking into the kitchen, and I just stopped and stood still and went, oh no. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. And there was more to it, right? So if you look back, for those of you who have access to the logos, if you will recall, I had this really cool logo idea. It was kind of something that was in Canva, and I just made it my own type of thing. And I looked at that, and, you know, I would, like, shut the computer down after staring at it for hours, and then I would come back fresh the next morning, and my views would change, right? And so I looked at it again, and then somebody that I respect very well was like, hey, have you looked to make sure that neither one of those names were trademarked? And I was like, oh, because I was down to two. And I'm like, oh, no, I should probably do that. And so I did. Thankfully, neither one of them are trademarked, but that got me thinking about the pictures that I had on these logos. And I was down to 3 at this time. And the one, I'm like, shit, that is so close to Starbucks logo, like so close to Starbucks logo. It had a mermaid in a circle, like she had scales, like the whole 9 yards. Like, there's no way if I were to get this trademarked at a later date that would be allowed. Like, it just wouldn't be allowed. And so I would have to go and get a custom logo created, and completely rebrand my entire brand, which I'm not sure how I would do that because there are so many mermaid things that are trademarked, you know. So that happened even before I realized that Sirens Medley wasn't going to work as a brand name. So then, sorry, the cat's she's running around like a crazy person and just tried to drink my water. So then the next thing that came up is like, okay, well, I guess we're going with the other one. And to be honest with you, it was already feeling lighter. Like, that was what it was drawing to me to that name, was I was already drawn to it. For those of you who don't know, I'm a practicing witch, and I have been a practicing witch for about 25 years now. And one of the things that is a huge part of my rituals every month is the moon and the moon cycles and all of the things. Like, there are things I do on the new moon, there are things I do on the full moon, there are things I do on the during the crescent moons, waxing and waning, right? And so yeah, I would love that in my brand. And magnolias are okay, let's try this differently. The name I'm going with is Moonlit Magnolia, and I'm very excited about that name. It has a lot of significance. The flower itself, the magnolia flower, has a lot of significance for me. You know, and then the moon was everything I just described, right? And Moonlit Magnolia reminds me of when I was living in Florida back before it became a crazy place. And we would go to this little cottage that was between Destin, Florida, and 30A. It was right on, I think it's 95. Is that 95? Highway 95. 85? 95. I don't know. There's one main road in Destin that will take you all the way to Panama City Beach, and it's on that road. Or it's off that road. And it's in this little magnolia grove, and it's called the Magnolia House. And I don't know if it's still there, but if it is, and you happen to go down that way, I highly recommend that you stop in there. The woman who owned it at the time, she was older, so I'm sure she's retired now, and this was 30 years ago. So it's been a long time. But this place was this beautiful little beach southern cottage in a magnolia grove. And it was just the most magical little boutique. She had a big grand piano in there. Once or twice we would go in there when I was visiting, and then I went there when I lived there. And she was playing the piano. She had this beautiful piano in there, and then you could buy her CDs of her playing this really just gentle, peaceful, loving, beautiful music. And I have a couple of her books and things like that. And it was just the cutest place. They had the most lovely little gifts and candles and soaps and all kinds of things. And that was just a really happy time in my life where I felt like I had a lot of possibilities, and it was hopeful. Which, if you look up the significance of magnolias, they are pure and hope and happiness and love. Like, all of these really beautiful concepts that I was trying to bring into the brand, right? This concept of self-love, this concept of honoring yourself and honoring your femininity, and it just felt light and happy and everything I wanted. And Siren's Medley, while it was a good idea, just didn't have that same feeling. So we are still going to have a Sirens Medley soap. It is going to be phenomenal, and it's going to be a mermaid soap with a swirl, and I absolutely cannot wait to have that, because I'm going to have a whole pirate collection. I have it all planned out. I just have to make them and cure them and test them. So I'm very excited about all that, but I've got to get through this first little bit and actually release my store to the online world and to all of you with a real brand name and all the things. So I'm very excited about that. Ugh, this cat must be thirsty. She keeps trying to drink my water like a rude person. I don't want your tongue in my water, kitty cat. She's crazy. All right, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk to you guys about. So I'm putting this up on my Facebook, and then I'm probably also going to be putting it on the YouTube channel because I haven't put a video out over there in like 2 months. And I'm going to be shifting that channel around. And here is why. I was having a really hard time with the budgeting videos. I still am. I've kind of fallen off the wagon, so to speak, with the budgeting altogether, and we can talk more about that. Anyway, my income got super fluctuating, and I'm still waiting on a very large invoice to be paid for work I did in June. So anyway, and yep, it's almost October. So, yeah, things are irritating, and it made putting out videos very hard because there was nothing to budget. So, I have credit card debt now, and that's exciting. But more than that, it was like I'm not cash stuffing, and nobody wanted to watch me talk about my budget. So, the other thing that happened is today I received a soap that I bought from another maker, and it was so cool because I got to watch her make the soap, and then I went and bought it, and now I have it in my bathroom. And I bought it for a couple reasons. A, I wanted to support her, and B, I wanted to actually put my hand. I've watched hundreds at this point of hours of videos of hers making soap and talking about things of that nature. And I will share the company that I bought this from because it's not the same person. But their message and their methods are incredible. And I think that they have other things other than just soaps. So she bought this from the person that actually made it. And everything about the packaging was awesome. It was an she uses old recycled cardboard and makes her own boxes. And like the little insert that came with my soap was printed on the back of a pop box. And apparently when I bought a soap, unbeknownst to me, I actually planted a tree. And I think 10% of my purchase price actually went toward ocean conservation. So like everything about this brand was on point with my values and what I'm looking for. And some of the things that I would love to do with my own brand, like I have a soap coming out that smells like my papu, which was actually a request from a friend, and it didn't realize it at the time. He's like, I want something that smells like gunpowder and, gunpowder. And I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do, right? And so I got 2 things that weren't gunpowder, but they had those kind of notes and concepts within them. And so I mixed them together, and I called him, and I was like, hey, so the soap kind of smells like it has a hint of coffee and a little bit of like Old Spicy type cologne and like deep woods, and just it's the most manly smell I've ever smelled. And he's like, that sounds like crusty old staff sergeant office. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah. So when cat is being a naughty person, stop it. Hey, knock it off. She's scratching the couch. This is why she can't be left out, because she is just irresponsible and rude. And crazy. What are you doing? Say hi. Yeah. Knock it So anyway, so I made it. I was like, I think I got it. And I sent it to him. And I got a message today that he got it. And he's like, you got it so close. It's so close. Like, it just sounds... It smells exactly like going into my superior's office and like when I was young, and the smile on their face when I exceeded their expectations. And he said, thank you. And I was like, yes, that's what I was going for. And so then, should not have let you out. Should not. So then, for me, it smells like I just went to push my glasses up and they aren't on my face. So for me, it smells like my papu, like his pipe tobacco. He had a special blend of pipe tobacco, and for the last, like, I don't know, 15 years, I've been trying to find something that smells like that pipe tobacco. And I hadn't gotten even close, but this is pretty darn close. And so it's got these deep smoked woods and coffee and like Old Spice and this pipe tobacco, and it just smells like him. So I'm probably going to be calling, I don't know yet. I'm really debating, but one of the things that I really want to do with that particular soap is have 10% of the proceeds go toward a fund that helps soldiers and wounded veterans and things like that, because that's near and dear to my heart, because my husband is a combat veteran and wounded, and so he's got PTSD. And then we'll definitely do a rainbow soap, because again, everything about Pride is me and my thing, my shtick. Oh wait, you know what I just found out? That shtick actually means penis in Yiddish, so that's not my shtick. It it is, however, my thing. Oh boy, it's late, and you're getting the silly side of me because it's late, and I am starting to get tired, sort of. Okay, so I want to do a rainbow. I'm debating whether or not I want to do a layered soap or like a drop swirl, some kind of swirl with rainbow, because swirls. She's like in the couch, ripping right here because I'm sitting right here. And if I move down here, she won't do that anymore. Anyway, so rainbow swirls are a lot easier. Excuse the mess if you can see it behind me. They're a lot easier, and so I'll be playing with that. And then once I figure out what scent, I have 2 that I want to try for that. 3 actually. But once I figure that out, we will put that out, and proceeds from that one will go toward probably the Trevor Project, because I really like their mission, or one of the other LGBTQIA+ organizations. And now we're being assaulted. Oh, Lunas. She's so sweet and crazy. She's my crazy baby. Let's see if there's anything else I'm going to talk to you about. Oh, I will reveal. Oh, the other reason I bought that soap, not only to see what it looked like, but I knew that she had used a stamp on the soap, and I really wanted to see how that looked. And that was kind of my plan with the Sirens Bedley soap, is to actually eventually get a custom stamp for that soap, So not only do you have the cool swirls, but then you have a stamp on top of it. Ugh. And the soap was made with 100% all natural ingredients. So it was just essential oils made to smell like apple cinnamon. And not sure if you know this, but there's no apple essential oil. That doesn't exist. So I was curious how that happened. So I wanted to smell it and see how that all came together. And it does smell like apple cinnamon, which is kind of crazy. Sort of. The apple is more like an apple orchard and not like an apple. So that's really interesting. And I still don't know how she did that. I was hoping to be able to pick out some of the notes, but because apple does not behave well in soap. Neither does cinnamon, but it does in melt and pour, which is what I've used it for at this point. But I'm told that it tends to not survive. It morphs and becomes something else in soap. So I'm a little bit curious, and I'd like to see what I can do with that to actually get an apple scent without actually having to put apple in it. Maybe apple juice will be the ticket. I don't know. We'll play with that and see. Or apple cider. Ooh. Okay. Anyway, before I get too excited, so that's something that I'm planning on doing with the YouTube channel, because I think personally it was so neat to have watched her make that soap from scratch and then cut it and see it and then order it and have it in my hands. That's the first time I've done that, and I've watched thousands upon thousands of hours of soap making videos at this point. So I think a lot of people like to watch, and I find soap making really intriguing. I find it exciting now because I'm actually doing it, but before I found it exciting, I found it fascinating and really relaxing. I still find it relaxing. Like, it's a favorite pastime of mine. If I'm not watching one of my shows, like, that are on Netflix or Hulu right now, I'm watching soap making videos. And I need to stop doing that in bed, because then I get up and make a 32-minute video about my soap making company. So right now I'm not doing the fully handmade. I have sold one of those bars, but that was because of who it was, and also because of the fact that I had been using it for 3 weeks prior to mailing hers out to her. So I'm still really anxious about sending my own completely handmade soaps from scratch out, especially since that was my very first batch, and I've only made 2 at this point. So I'm kind of waiting for a disaster to happen, because I'm sure it will. But the last batch actually went much better than the first batch, and the first batch turned out fine. I just absolutely blended the ever-loving hell out of it, and I've over-blended it, if that won't make sense until you watch me make soap. But the second one, I used more water, and I didn't blend it nearly as long. So I'm hoping that works out. Soap takes 4 to 6 weeks to cure, depending on, and possibly longer, depending on how much water you put in there. Like right now, I could grab the soap and use it, but it's still got a lot of water weight. And so what we're doing when we're curing it is actually dehydrating it and getting all of the water to come out. And then bringing it back down to just what's the oils and the butters and things that we put in there, and the scents. So getting it back down to just those core things. Oh, I'm being bashed and assaulted. Hi. You want to say hi? You're so pretty. So that's kind of what we're waiting on. And so, right now I'm still in that playing phase of just kind of playing with it, making soaps. And starting to do swirls and things like that. Don't know why I was crazy and thought I should do a swirl a second soap out. But it turned out really good. It didn't turn out the way I had it in my head, but it turned out well either way. So I'm pretty jazzed about that, and I'm excited to try it. And it smells so good, and it's the first soap in the Pirate collection. It's going to be called High Seas, and it looks like the ocean, and I'm very excited actually. So we're gonna have Sirens Medley, High Seas, Ahoy Matey, or maybe Anchored. I can't remember. I think it's either Ahoy Matey or Anchored. And then there's another one that I can't remember right now off the top of my head without my notes. But maybe it was just those four. I don't know. One of them is a layered soap, I know that. And then one of them is the mermaid. And that particular scent is a dupe of a very popular Victoria's Secret fragrance that I wore in high school. And it starts with an L. So I'll let you all try and figure that out and leave a guess in the comments as to what you think that Victoria's Secret dupe is. And I think I'm gonna go because this is getting really, really long. Anyway, so I think I might take you along in my soaping journey and record some videos of me making the soaps that I'm gonna be selling. So you can kind of see what that process is like and what how it all comes together. Would you like to watch me make soap? I don't know. I'll even let you watch the melt and pour. They're really boring though, and it's super fast. But I'm happy to record them, especially when I'm making quite a few. We can just have a chat, and I'll make soaps, and maybe talk about some of the business side of things. We'll see. But I am gonna go because we're at 38 minutes almost, and I still have to say goodbye to you. So. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. If you are interested in the soaps, please let me know. I'll send you the Google form and or the website link. There's something going on that I need to figure out. I think I got the cart pages and all that stuff worked out, but I'm still missing the quantities in there and the back order capability. And today I measured all of my oils out to see how much I have of each one, so that when I go to put them in there, I know how many I can make before I have to order again, which I need to order again some of them because I'm running really, really low. And I think they're only going to make like 1 or 2 bars. But when I made that soap for my friend the other day, the crusty old SFC soap, or Papu, by whatever name, I'm still not sure. I actually went ahead because he ordered also a sample pack, which has been wildly popular, by the way. And the sample pack includes all of the 6 main scents, which, note, there's going to be a holiday sample pack as well. So that same day, I went ahead and made like the equivalent of 12 bars of soap. And only 3 of those were for him. So I have a lot of actual bars of soap. I only have 1 main mold at the moment. I really need to get a second one, but I need to sell some more soap before I could do that. But anyway, and I'm going to start making cold process in that mold. I'm really anxious about that. just because it's a whole different process and it needs to be really running because there's a lot of detail work in the mold itself. So my main soaps look like a honeycomb and they have a bee in them, and the melt and pour does really well because it's very liquidy, and so I just need to make sure that when I am doing my batter, I get it just right to get into that mold and actually get those details out. And if I do that, it will be magical, and I can make those types of soap, because I was really sad thinking that I was only going to be able to do square and rectangular loaf soaps. The only downside is that there's only 6 bars in that mold, so I would have to have, in order to make as many as is in my loaf, I would have to have 2 more of those molds and really pour fast. And so we'll see how that goes. Plus, I love that you can't do layers and things like that in that type of mold. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I will definitely have the square molds, and they're bigger bars of soap, right? I can get you a 5 or 6 ounce bar of soap versus a 2.6. But I do love the shape of the octagonal bar. It feels so good in the hand. It's like the perfect size. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling because I told you I was leaving 4 minutes ago and we're still talking. So I hope that you guys have a lovely day. If you made it to the very end, thank you so much. Leave a comment that told me that you got all the way to the end. If you would like to buy the soaps, I will leave a link to the Google form, and then once I actually release the website, because like I said, there's an issue and I gotta fix it. And once I do that, then I will release that and we will be all good to go. And I'm very excited about all this, and I hope you guys have a good day. See ya. Bye.